The public health emergency caused by the COVID-19 virus made the world come to a complete standstill. Movement was severely limited, and economies all around the globe suffered considerable losses. With the unforeseen spread and impact of this disease, all industries, including the maritime sector, were paralyzed. Like most countries, the Philippines was also hardly hit with the catastrophic impact of COVID-19 pandemic. The maritime industry in particular was subject to many challenges. Despite the ongoing health crisis, the nation remained steadfast and employed the necessary practices to rise above the complex issues faced by the seafaring community, maritime stakeholders, and the maritime sector as a whole. The agencies comprising the Philippine Maritime Administration joined forces to uphold the maritime industry amidst the unprecedented challenges brought by the COVID-19 pandemic. In support of the establishment of the Philippines Green Lane and several crew change efforts, the Philippine Maritime Administration approved the Board Resolution number 2020-04-04, recognizing seafarers, shipyard workers, and personnel from local manning agencies as key workers. This declaration aims to expedite the processes and documentation needed by these stakeholders while granting them with less travel restrictions. The guidelines for the establishment of the Philippine Green Lane to facilitate the speedy and safe travel of seafarers, including their safe and swift disembarkation and crew change during the COVID-19 pandemic, was a product of the concerted efforts of various government agencies. The Philippines has also opened the following ports to serve as international hub and gateway ports for ships' crew change, following health requirements and protocols in accordance with the COVID-19 Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases, or IATF-EID, policies and procedures. The country has also established the One-Stop Shop, or OSS, in Manila's airport terminals to assist the overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, specifically Filipino seafarers who will undergo mandatory facility-based quarantine against COVID-19. Moreover, a quarantine facility in the port of Capinpin in Bataan was established by the Philippine Ports Authority for disembarking seafarers. The Philippines, through the Department of Transportation and the Maritime Industry Authority, ensures that Filipino seafarers will be prioritized for COVID-19 vaccination program. Recognized as key workers, Filipino seafarers are vital in maintaining supply chains in the maritime industry. But in spite of these challenges, the Philippines remain committed in working towards the International Maritime Organization's goal of having a safe, efficient, and environmentally sound shipping industry and sustainable global maritime transport, as the country presents its candidature for re-election to uphold its position to the IMO Council under Category C for the 2022 to 2023 Biennium. Being a major maritime nation, the Philippines is composed of 7,641 islands, with 298,170 square kilometers of land area and approximately 36,289 kilometers of coastline. The country ranked 7th in the world in terms of the number of islands and 5th in terms of the longest coastline. Being the preferred seafarers of choice, the Philippines represents the largest nationality of maritime crew, serving the international merchant marine fleet, who are dubbed as sailing ambassadors. Through the implementation of the STCW Convention, the Philippines also ensures competence and competitiveness of the Filipino maritime professionals through training and compliance with international commitments. The International Labour Organization, or ILO, officially whitelisted the Philippines for fully meeting the minimum requirements of the revised SID Convention 185. The Philippines was the first ratifying member state to comply with the convention. In June 2019, the Philippines, through the Maritime Industry Authority, launched the Seafarer's Identity Document, or SID, a credit card-sized document printed on both sides and using microchip to store seafarer biometrics data for facial image recognition, in accordance with ICAO Document 9303 standards, or similar to the standards for travel documents. For women in the maritime industry, the Philippines fully supports IMO Assembly Resolution 1147 of its 31st session, preserving the legacy of the World Maritime Theme through 2019 in achieving a barrier-free working environment for women in the maritime sector by providing office space and secretariat for the Women in the Maritime Association Asia, or WIMA Asia, and through the government-wide Gender and Development Program. When it comes to shipbuilding, the Philippines, with its strategic geographical location and as the #1 source of maritime labor, became the 5th largest shipbuilding nation in terms of global shipbuilding order book, having a total of 118 shipyards and a growing shipbuilding sector with a capacity of close to 1 million GT. In 2019, the Philippines exported a total of $557 million worth of new ship construction projects. In terms of major ports, the Philippines has aligned the operations of its ports and shipping industry with internationally recognized standards mandated by the IMO. The Philippines has also approved the Philippine Maritime Strategy on the implementation and enforcement of relevant IMO instruments, as well as the cross-table of responsibilities, aiming to strengthen the maritime transport, enhance the safety and security of shipping, and ensure the protection of the marine environment. Here are also the country's strong collaboration and cooperation on various IMO projects towards marine environment protection. Despite the hurdles that confronted the industry, the Philippines remains dedicated in continuing the trend of providing quality service and necessary policies to ensure the betterment of the country's maritime industry. With all the efforts mentioned, the Philippines would greatly value the support for its re-election to the IMO Council under Category C for the 2022 to 2023 Biennium to continually advance the mission of the IMO in ensuring safety of life and property at sea, sustainable shipping, and environmentally sound maritime industry.